覚まして。
If, like me, you had a Wii U, then you'll probably remember this. Mr. Aonuma and Mr. Miyamoto sitting down in a room showing us supposedly the latest build of Zelda Breath of the Wild running on Wii U. As you can see, Mr. Aonuma has that awesome gamepad in his hands. Totally underrated device, seriously, but I'm not going to get into that anyway. And we were all, I think I can say, collectively we were shocked, in awe of what we were seeing. This massive open world with vistas you could look at anywhere you could see, you could go. You could walk there. You could go on horseback. You could after a certain point in the game, you could glide certain distances. It just looked, the colours were so vivid, the animations were so Nintendo, I guess. They were spot on. But to say I had some reservations wouldn't be an understatement. You know, I've been playing games for about 35 years. And I've seen games being showed, and there goes my phone, which I should put on silent while I'm recording. But anyway, where was I? Yeah, I've been shown games before and promised this, promised that, and when the game finally, you get it in your hands, it's not quite what they showed you in these demos and told you what it was going to be like. But look at this. He's not moving the control sticks, and the horse doesn't hit trees, just like in real life it wouldn't. And no other developer had really ever thought of stuff like that. But like I say, I was hesitant, and I'm sure many others were, that how much of what we were seeing were we really going to be able to do? Were we going to be able to ride wherever we wanted? Were we going to be able to look at the gamepad and look at the map and go, right, I'll put a marker there, that's where I want to go? Were you going to be able to deviate from the storyline as much as you want and just go adventuring? All these was still questions that really weren't answered. And whilst, like I said, in awe at the combat they showed, the horse riding, the jumping off, slow motion, firing the arrows, in the next showing coming up in a sec is when we see basically the finished Zelda, and either the fears that I had and maybe others had were going to be put to rest, or they were going to be confirmed. So let's have a look at the next clip. January 2017, we still didn't know when the Switch was coming out, but Nintendo had a big event showing off the features of the Switch, some of the games that were coming at launch and further down the line, and they also showed us this at the end, the latest, and you can only assume the basically finished version of Breath of the Wild. And I mean, what can I say? Look at it. Just look at it. There's not enough words to describe what I was seeing, what you were seeing, the different environments, the colours, the hues of colours, the animations. At first, my very first thought, and Shadow Fox is gonna grill me for this, I thought, is this pre-rendered, or something? But no, this is in-game, rendered by the in-game engine running in real time. I mean, look at that. Look, you have cold areas, really hot areas, Link riding the horse. This is a land that's been ravaged by war. We now know you've been asleep for 100 years, riding along these massive vista landscapes, the towers, and then the shrines that replace the traditional dungeons. Good or bad? I'm not too worried. And Nintendo, they absolutely knew, even though the game had been delayed from when we were originally told it was coming, they knew they had a massive hit on their hands that was just going to blow basically every other true open world game out of the water. This was their first full-on attempt at a true open world Zelda, and they basically nailed everything first time. The physics, the weather, the combat, the climbing, just everything. I'm sure there's a few things we could nitpick, but what really amazed me was, you know, you could ask different people and everyone would have a different opinion about, well, I saw this and I saw this, and it'd be like, well, I never noticed that. And it rounded out a presentation that was fairly good, and the anticipation level for me, and I'm sure for you and everyone else, just ramped up, and it was like, when is this game coming? This looks finished, give it to me now. Tell me it's going to be on the Wii U eShop as a download after this presentation ends. You know, I'm sold, just take my money. I mean, just look at it. This is why Zelda. And then of course Nintendo had to do it, didn't they? They had to do it. They finished off the presentation. We now knew the Switch was coming March 3rd, 2017. And yes, they then told us that Link would be waking up after 100 years on exactly the same date. It was a launch title. So March 3rd, 2017 comes around, and finally we all have Zelda Breath of the Wild in our hands. It's fair to say, or it's not unfair to say, that having played the game and spoken to many people who have played the game, we've all experienced it in different ways. Once you leave that great plateau, we've all gone different ways, you know, which is just one of the amazing things about that game. Yes, if you want, you can go straight to Ganon and do the final fight. You're probably going to lose, but it's an option that Nintendo added that they really didn't need to, but they did. But yeah, you leave that great plateau. The number of times when I've looked at something and thought, right, that's where I want to go, that's where I need to go, I'll start heading there, something will catch my eye and I'll veer off, and then within a minute or so I'll have forgotten completely where I was going because I'm so fixated on where I'm now arriving at, or will be arriving at. I can't think of really any other games that have done that or achieved that. And full disclosure here, I'm not going to lie, I'm going to be truthful. There's probably 3, maybe 4 people know this at the moment anyway. I've never completed Zelda Breath of the Wild. Never. I have all the content. I have played probably 30-40 hours of it, but that's by restarting, playing. But yep, sadly I have to admit I've never completed it. However, making this video, when it came top of the Twitch poll that I put out as the game that you would keep, I started looking at clips, creating clips and that, and it absolutely reinvigorated my passion for this game, and I am going to start again and I'm going to complete it, absolutely. And of course then we got all the added content, which in my opinion was well worth it. It added new modes, new story, you know, a harder difficulty and such forth. But like I say, everyone experienced a different Zelda, and no other Zelda game has done that, I don't think. Certainly no other game. Prove me wrong, you know, in the comments, tell me other games that have done that. And also in the comments below, let me know how you experienced Zelda. Did it live up to your expectations? Was it not as good as you thought it would be? Was it better than you thought it would be, like it was for me, as I did have some reservations? What more can be said? It didn't surprise me that Zelda came top of the poll. Smash came second, but Zelda, it's just up on that higher plateau, and Nintendo have set themselves a very high standard for their next, you know, true 3D Zelda game. which I have every confidence they are going to achieve and hopefully surpass. It will be very hard. It will be very hard. I will leave you with a very small trailer with a little bit of music playing of just some of the accolades that some outlets, online publications and YouTubers gave Zelda Breath of the Wild. I hope you enjoyed this video. I absolutely loved making it and watching Zelda, and it was just fantastic. But like I say, comment down below, let me know your thoughts on Breath of the Wild. This is part 1 of the Twitch poll. Part 2 would be the game that I would choose to keep if I could only keep one Switch game. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please give it a like, subscribe if not already subscribed, share it with your friends, and yes, I hope to see you in the next one. So please take care and keep gaming.